Okay. Hello. Let's see. Is this even working? I don't know if it's working. Okay. Cool ads. Okay, so it is officially 7:21 here, which means that is what I would call an hour and 20 minutes late for when I wanted to start doing this. But that's okay. We're getting the ball rolling now. It's just that I have no freaking clue what I'm doing, and every time that I go to start this, something screws up. Like even right now, I can tell something is screwed up. Fark. Cool, and everything was not ruined. That's great. Okay, so the other thing is I have chat displayed, but it won't display unless there's some things in there. So I'm gonna do like that, and a couple more of these, and eventually it should get to the point where it's displaying. The other problem I had was the chat. I don't know why I'm saying this right now. Literally nobody is watching this. I'm talking to myself. Okay, so now when people say a thing, it should pop up there, and maybe just for good measure I should say something like, hey, 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 welcome, to Zelda, and things, ignore the previous D. Eh? Does this sound okay? Testing, 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 testicles. Alright, I guess this is as good a time as any to say it's showtime. Let's see. What exactly is the deal here? So, welcome. There's literally nobody watching this right now, live, but that's not a big deal. One viewer, that's me on my phone. Something in my eye. Oh. Okay, so this is a pretty long-winded explanation for I'm just streaming, so if you don't care about that, I guess skip ahead in the video, because again, nobody is watching this live. I'm not holding anybody up by explaining this. About a year and a half, 2 years ago at this point, I moved into this house here with my lovely girlfriend, and things have been pretty okay. But as soon as we moved in, someone broke into the house and stole a very decent chunk of game collection. Not really games, but like systems and accessories and stuff like that. This is like on top of the general life happens of moving, things get broken, things get lost, I am irresponsible, I have to sell things, you know, various what's it jiggers of, you know, being alive, of being a living person. So, essentially the thing that happened, I looked at the fact that most of my shit had been destroyed or like sold or taken or whatever. I didn't have it anymore. Collection of video games that was kind of a shell of what it used to be. Sorry. And I realized if I was going to play all these games that I wanted to play and keep the interests that I want to be interested in, that I need to either put up or shut up, essentially do it or don't do it. Because you never know when someone's just going to come in and wreck your shit, like just blow up your whole house, creeper style. So essentially the gist of what was lost, it was like a PS4 and a Wii U and a handful of Wii stuff. And slowly I have been trying to build up back those things again. That's just like what was lost in that initial thievery. But the other bits and pieces of my collection that I said have just been lost over time, those are things that it takes a little bit longer to get, you know, built back up again. I still don't have a Wii U, and it's crappy too because the thing was literally like boxed up, like completely in its box, ready to be unpacked in this new house, and someone just took the box and left and took it. So I have a bunch of Wii U games, no Wii U. They got the PS4, which had the Princess Bride in it, unfortunately. So my DVD copy of Princess Bride, which has since been replaced with a Blu-ray, was also taken. Excuse me. Sorry, gotta take some coffee. Anyway, so about that time, I was getting back into games for the first time in a long time. You know, stuff happens when you grow up to the point where you have to try and get back into your interests again. It's easy to lose track of what you like and to not enjoy them anymore. So after some time seeking myself, I was able to get back into games again and feel a passion for, you know, all this crap that I have not paid attention to just because it's an expensive hobby. And it's hard to keep up with. But following various streamers and YouTubers in my own getting back into it, it just seems like something at the time that should be no problem to get into. I grew up on like the AVGN episodes. I grew up. I mean, I was like 14 or 15 or something like that at the time. But that was a lot of fun for me. It shaped my sense of humor for a long time. Got into a lot of other online video series, and that's essentially what my YouTube channel was going to be. I was going to do the videos like I had always enjoyed watching, except more of my swing on it, and try to keep it fun for me, keep it like something that not only keeps me motivated to keep playing games, but to keep collecting. So the idea initially was do reviews, do rants, do, you know, things that people would be interested in watching, but also just keep it as a general catalog for like my collection, and to use it as fuel to keep playing, and to, if somebody was watching me play or somebody was interested in seeing my opinions on something, then it would be more motivation for me to you know, go out and do that myself. So that was the idea with the original channel, was do game reviews, do collection reviews, do thrifting reviews, thrifting videos, go over things I found. I was really into doing VHS videos, like reviews, and like, oh man, what the hell is on this VHS? It could be anything. You know, when you find, you know, stuff at Goodwill or stuff at thrifts that is unlabeled. And so I have a pretty decent archival VHS machine that I never really used, and I wanted to get into data backup for people and have customers where I could like back up their data, and it just kind of fell through. It just it didn't really become something I was able to stick with for enough time. And at least when it came to the YouTube side of things, it was purely because I suck. I filmed two videos when the fuel of having the SNES Classic come out and be such a shit show to get a hold of. That was like fuel on the fire, and I was able to, produce videos for two of them really in quick succession with very low production value, and it took me way too long, and it took way longer than I thought it was going to take, and my editing is terrible, and just to do the little bits where like things pop up on screen, every single thing that I did I had to learn, and it was very frustrating, and I was not good at it, and I decided to not do it for very long. So it wasn't that I just decided not to, it's that I tried a couple more times after that. I recorded like 2 or 3 more videos that were just boring, and I explored ideas that I just didn't find interesting, and eventually it just became a thing that was too much to handle, and it was stressing me out, and there were nights where I would want to stay up all night editing, and then it would be a terrible time, and like my actual job would suffer because of it, and little stuff like that I was just like, let's not do this right now. I did the 2 videos, and then I filmed the other random videos, and after that it was I was doing oh, sorry. Fix you guys. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by this coffee table back here. There's like after sun lotion on the coffee table, which is like, I live in the friggin' desert, so I just have like sunburn lotion on the coffee table. It looks really gross to have it there. So, well, just give me 1 second. Sorry, that was very much like a like American Pie. What is that thing? Why does he have so much lotion? Kind of thing. And it's for skin. I promise it's just for skin. Anyways, and then I did a Christmas video, which was it took too long, and it was the holidays, and I wasn't able to edit it, and it's still up in pieces, and I don't know why I even still have it up there. On the channel anymore, and that was at least a year or 2 ago, year and a half ago or whatever, when the Christmas one went up, and that's the only thing that I've done. So that's a little bit about me and this channel and what the heck is going on, and nothing's going on with it. What is the deal? There's no deal. I eventually was just like, what interests me? What can I do? If playing games on stream, if I do a stream, then it's like a lot easier to put together, it's easier to put all the pieces there and let them fall into place, and then just upload the other stuff in pieces. So when Link's Awakening remake was coming out, I was like, well, I have Switch and I can stream that. But what would be cooler is playing the game fresh, the original game fresh, to like get ready for the remake, because at this point I should have been playing this one, or should have played it already. There's no excuse for not having played Link's Awakening, and like that's totally my gaming life, is look at all these things that I missed. It's just stuff that wasn't on my radar, it wasn't my thing at the time. You have to play catch up essentially, and that would be a fitting idea for this, is like game catch up, game sauce, game catch up, like not game sauce, game catch up. That could be a potential idea here, is just get through all of them, get through everything, catch up, play all the games you missed. How many games do you have in your crap at home, your collection, where you haven't even like played half of them, or you played halfway through and you got bored, or you got a new game or something like that. It happened to me constantly when I was a kid. You'd like get something new and the old thing would just, you forget about it for a little while. And you go back and it's just like a huge pain in the ass to get back into. I'm rambling. This is all stuff that can be better said in a better way in a different video. That shouldn't be the thing I'm doing exactly right now. What are we doing now? The point now... So I work at a used bookstore that expands out into used electronics, used musical instruments, used movies, used entertainment, used anything. If you want to sell it, that they will buy it. And we get a lot of crazy stuff in, and there's been so many things that could be videos or could be subjects for streams that have passed me by. You want to come up? Come on up. Meow. There are so many things that could have passed, or that we could have done that passed me by that I didn't act on, I didn't do. And I was like, this is a bullshit. I can come up with an idea, put it together, do something that I want to do, that I'm interested in doing, that I can take from work, that I can turn into something fun. So we had a copy of Link's Awakening in time for the new game to come out, and this is the original Game Boy game. And the only reason I focused on this one is because about the same time the game guide came in, and I don't mean like any old game guide. I don't mean like something that I got off the internet. I mean, sorry, let's see if I can do this with just again. I mean, the official Zelda Link's Awakening Nintendo Player's Guide. This isn't the official guide from Nintendo Power. This isn't Prima Strategies or Brady Games authorized from Nintendo. This is Nintendo Player's Guide. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. And it's the oldest Zelda game guide that I've been able to find so far. We constantly get in the game guides for A Link to the Past, but it's never the original Super Nintendo guide. It's always one for the Game Boy Advance version. It's always, for the GameCube, or a collection. It's always for a new re-release. So I'm like, oh, gotta get it of the era. You gotta be of the era. And so that's what I did. I got this little book. It has a bunch of cool lore. Nintendo lore is, like, surprisingly convoluted when it comes to stuff that's officially endorsed of the time. As everybody knows, that the Zelda timeline is fleshed out, or so they say, but, like, a lot of this shit doesn't make any sense, and the stuff that was theorized about it before all the official Nintendo stuff was released is a little bit cooler, if you ask me. So this is as official Nintendo timeline as it gets, as official Nintendo artwork as it gets, as official Nintendo, writing about a Zelda game as it gets, that doesn't come directly from a game. This is Link. This is my cat Link. He is a very needy kitty. Not exactly the hero to save the land. He would not fare so well. But he is very cute. And he's made of butter. This is a buttered noodle of a cat. But anyway, it's time to get started. So, if this becomes like a regular thing, I'd love to have the game guide by my side. It's a good way to streamline it. It's a good way to get through these things quickly. If this, seems like it's a fun thing for everybody else to see, somebody look at the guide at the same time, again, because it's official, it's of the era, it's, the best guide you could get from the best source you could get, I guess, at the time. So I hope this is fun. I hope this is a good idea. And if it turns into something that could be like a smaller video, edited together in a clip fashion, or in kind of a review type fashion where we talk about not only the game but the guide as well, I'd love to take scans of the guide or get scans online and show them of what exactly is going on as I'm looking at it too, because I won't be able to show what's happening in the guide as I'm reading it, probably without it looking like total butts. And apparently I'm dirty, even though I just showered, because I'm being cleaned. So let's get started. I'm going to put the cat down, and we're gonna play this thing. I know. Let go. You're sweet. this setup is obviously temporary and terrible. I am currently using headphones that are hardwired into the computer. Not hardwired, it's just like headphones that I've plugged in, and they are super short, so I'm like sitting right here. The light that I'm using is a terrible light. I'm actually, looking at a CRT, which is over here. Maybe I can show without ruining everything. So, CRT there, light box there, and now everything's ruined. I just have it projected onto the window behind me. This is a fun way to play retro games because the projector screen is kind of garbage when it comes to playing things with more detail. But retro games, it's pretty cool, and I figured having it over my shoulder might be cool, not just having it here in this little, terribly captured box. So, bear with me with the way things look, and if you are in the chat, tell me how I can fix things, message me, whatever. If you're on the YouTube channel in the comments, then again, give me suggestions, because I know literally nothing about this. This is all stuff I've figured out, like, in the several times that I've tried to stream. This is my, fourth or fifth time trying to get it started tonight, and I had to switch back to a different streaming software because the computer couldn't even process everything using the Streamlabs software. So that's why our chat is super tiny, and the background is just a plain gray, and the logo is on a weird transparent background in a super low resolution, and everything looks like shit. So, enough talking. Tell me how I can fix it, and let's get on with playing a thing. There's already a save file on this game. Link, Zelda, and Panda. Alright, so I guess we're gonna... Oh man, Link has 4 hearts and 65 somethings. I don't know what that is. Let's jump in this way. In fact, can I get back out of this? Can I back? No, I cannot back out. It's start or it's reset. Anyway, it'd be cooler if we had the intro going during this. Okay, you're right. Sorry, kitty. Gotta get up. Gotta get up. Sorry. Horrible thoughts that maybe that would just, completely cut out and we would just be totally screwed because I had to go and mess with it. Excuse me. Okay, so the reason that I like to have the game guide, it's actually pretty funny because as a kid, I thought the game guide was stupid, any help was stupid. I would only look up things or and try to get help with something if I was absolutely certain that I was stuck and it was taking me too long. And 9 times out of 10, when I did this, when I finally looked for help, when something like this had happened, it was because I was overlooking something that was completely obvious, or I was overthinking it, or something like that. And I know that's still it's still an inability to figure out the thing, but I was like, ugh, I would have never figured that out because I was thinking too deeply about it, or something to that effect. So I would not normally want to have the guide with me, but this is something that I know a lot of people are into. I know that there's a lot of good information in the guides, and it'll definitely help speed us up here a little bit. So let's try to... Let's look into the guide and see what it has. And so the deal with this, I mentioned this briefly before, but the Zelda timeline has been convoluted for a very long time. And now apparently Nintendo has devised a way to fit everything together, but there's a bunch of holes in their way of looking at things, just like there were holes in all the theories before. So game theory does the gaming historian does a way better depth a deep dive or whatever into exactly what happened with Link's Awakening, but it's interesting because it was a game that essentially the Zelda team didn't care about. It was given to a different team, and they were put in charge of this game to develop a whole adventure for Game Boy. And how do you get a big enough game onto a small enough screen that is as cool as it could be, and blah 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 blah. So this game came out essentially when Nintendo was really only worried about A Link to the Past. They only cared about releasing the console version, and anything that came out on the Game Boy was going to be weird, and it was going to be a little different, and it was not going to be it's not going to be canon, essentially. It's going to be a dinky little portable adventure, which is like drastically different from its main series counterpart or its console counterpart. That seems to be the general consensus, at least from what I've read into it and I've heard about it, is that whatever, do whatever you want to do. It's going to be on the Game Boy. It's not Zelda 4. It's not, even Link to the Past is barely Zelda 3. This is not Zelda 4, so go nuts, essentially. Which is why it's so weird. Which is why it has all these Mario characters in it. Which is why any Zelda character from past can show up, because it's a dream. The whole thing is a dream. It takes place in a dream. Sorry, spoilers. Dream is a dream world. So anyway, back to why the game guide is cool. You are grasping at straws, essentially, back in the day to get any kind of official documentation or lore or whatever out of Nintendo. When it comes to these things, this is essentially Nintendo's official stance on these games, and you have to seek it out now because it's not always like readily available. Even at the time, unless you read Nintendo Power or had this official game guide, or still had a copy of the game with the manual with it, which I actually don't have that on hand for this game, since it was bought secondhand, just cartridge only. You're not going to get those little bits. You're only going to get what you see in the game. So this is essentially a look at as much of a well-rounded story and lore as we can get about this game, not just focusing on essentially what is in the game ready for us to read in the character dialogue. So, the greatest adventure ever told for Game Boy. When The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, the Game Boy handheld system... we're gonna have to start that over. You done fucked up already. With The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, the Game Boy handheld system takes an evolutionary step forward. Link's Awakening combines the graphic sophistication of the Super NES adventure, A Link to the Past, with the characters and music from the original Zelda game. In fact, Link's Awakening has more depth and challenge than any previous Zelda game. We're spitting venom now. We're talking shit. Which means that players may need more tips and strategies than ever before. That's where a Nintendo Player's Guide can help. In this book, you'll travel with Link through the puzzles and perils of Koholint Island. You'll learn the secrets of trading goods with the peculiar inhabitants. The peculiar inhabitants as you strive to survive the ravages of the nightmares. In these pages, you'll find precise maps of the entire island. You'll explore each room in every dungeon, castle, cave, and discover what items lie hidden there. When monsters attack, you can turn to the enemy index and learn the best battle techniques. If you are wandering lost in the darkness, this player's guide will lead you back into the light. You can delve as deep as you want or use the player's guide as a last resort. But either way, this is the only source for complete help on Link's Awakening. That was somewhere between like a Patrick Stewart, a Sean Connery. They went back and forth. They took a step back into other accents. It was not good. And so that's on a nifty page like this. And then we see the legend, which is all going to be about backstory. So this kind of goes backwards. In game release, because it's this goes according to the Zelda timeline at the time. And very specifically, despite what Nintendo says, and despite what other theories may have said previously to this effect, according to official Nintendo timelines at the time, the Zelda and Link in A Link to the Past are ancestors of Zelda and Link from the original game, the Legend of Zelda on NES. So I'm not, if you're familiar with any of the timeline stuff, essentially, I just got this message, encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster encoding preset. And that's a shock, because I don't know what that is. I don't know what that does. I don't know what that means. And I don't know how to fix it. Everything is low as poop. The camera is like, I mean, it says 1080p, but that's not 1080p. Video settings are, it's composite upscaled, so I don't know. Okay. Where were we? Back to the story. So, on the box, or in the manual, essentially, it says, the ancestors of Link and Zelda. So, Link to the Past officially, at least at this time, takes place before the other original Zelda games. And you can tell based on, Zelda NES and the stories from Zelda 2 that Hyrule essentially, reduced to a primitive civilization and then, re-expanded upon as Link grows older. In the story of the second game, he ventures north into a forgotten about part of the kingdom, and that's where the whole thing takes place, is in the north section of Hyrule. So essentially, sometime between Link to the Past and the original Zelda game, something happens and everything is reduced to a very primitive state, a wasteland essentially. But according to the A Link's Awakening game guide, long ago and far away, there lived a magical people called the Hylians, or Hylians. Official Nintendo stance is Hylia. But growing up, it was always Lake Hylia. Hylia. It just sounds wrong. It just doesn't sound right. But it's Hyrule. It's not Hyrule. Hyrule. So, Hylian. Magical people called the Hylians. Their magic lit up the land with wonders, but they were doomed to dwindle over the years. In time, only a few people in the land of Hyrule could be called Hylians, and their magic was only a shadow of what it once had been. In that weaker age, an object called the Triforce held much of the land's power. When the King of Thieves, Ganondorf, stole the Triforce, a new dark world was opened, splitting up the light world and dark world. Link to the Past, spoilers. Although few true Hylians lived in Hyrule in later days, their great works remained: soaring towers, cunning mazes, and magical weapons and tools which were scattered, fought over, and eventually lost from knowledge. The simplest Hyruleans, who now peopled the land, had no magic of their own, and so, in times of need, they waited for heroes of Hylian blood to step forth. So that's interesting in this book, at least according to, what we're reading here. They're saying that Hylians are the royal folk, the ancient civilization, the ones who built the traps, the puzzles, and whatever that Link goes through in the Link to the Past. And Hyrulean people are the people that live there now, who are not Hylian, are not magic, are not super good at building temples, but they can milk cows and farm. Moving on to the story of The Legend of Zelda. After the downfall of Ganon, Hyrule experienced a brief golden age. Then it declined into a rustic place of forests and fields. Many years passed, and then evil creatures began to roam the woods. Soon, they grew bold. Princess Zelda, whose ancestor had helped destroy Ganon long ago, tried to take action, but she was captured and taken to Death Mountain. Impa, Zelda's lady-in-waiting, went in search for a hero to save the kingdom. So then, you know, Link, he's found, he goes into the cave, he gets a sword, he's dangerous to go alone, and you take it. Go left. Soon thereafter, a young man aided Impa, and learning of the princess's need, went off in search of her. Link battled through dungeon caves as heroically as his famous ancestor. Finally, he found Ganon restored to his old power, and the two fought a great duel. Link won the day and rescued Zelda. Good for him. And this is a little, this is essentially what we're looking at here. For A Link to the Past, there's this beautiful, painting of him getting the Triforce, which is really good. Again, I wish I could show you this. Over here, we've got Impa, getting Link, how to be a hero, and down here, it's like a Ganon fight. We see a fight with the Ganon, It's a Ganon fight. And this little tidbit here shows actual screenshots from the game. It is just a little bit about the game and what it is and how you play it or whatever, and I'm going to read it here. The first Zelda game was released in July 1987 for the NES. Oh, this is a current, so it should be like a current timey voice. First Zelda game was released in July. So this is like 80s California guy, maybe he has a mullet. Released in July for the NES. It was a smashing success. Players of all ages loved the open-ended action that could be saved by means of a battery. It's got batteries in it. Also a first, the adventure has remained one of the most popular video games ever made. Sorry, we gotta be gentle with the guide because it's old. Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link. And this is actually interesting because this page actually does have another little tidbit about A Link to the Past here on this one, which is interesting because that contradicts exactly what we just read. Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Magical kingdoms seldom know peace for long. So it was no surprise when Hyrule fell into the shadow once again after Ganon's defeat. At first, Link did nothing about the growing rumor of moblins along the At first, Link did nothing about the growing rumors of moblins along the roads, but when Zelda fell under a sleeping enchantment, he had to act. Link ventured far afield in his quest to rid the land of danger and darkness. He passed under mountains, visited distant towns, and even crossed the sea. Everywhere he went, Link found evil creatures, but he also learned to use magic, and so it was eventually he came to a hidden castle where he fought his own shadow. Now, I think that also contradicts what I know too, because in watching a ton of Zelda videos or whatever, I'm pretty sure the story of Zelda 2 is that Zelda is at home and Link leaves Hyrule in search of adventure, in search of something to do, essentially, because he leaves, Hyrule in peace, and he discovers the kingdom in the north, which houses the original Zelda. So, I'm like reciting Zelda lore from 20, 30 years ago that I learned about when I was in high school, or I was 12 or whatever, and now I'm like spitting it back out at you guys. So there may be inconsistencies here, and it might be like completely wrong of me to assume this is the way that things should be. But as far as I know, an older Link leaves Hyrule looking for something to do, looking for adventure, comes across Old Hyrule, or North Hyrule, essentially, realizing that there's actually stuff to do up there. There's actually a kingdom, or whatever you want to call it. And he finds a temple where a Zelda is sleeping, but it's not his Zelda. It is an original Zelda. And long ago, essentially, there was a kingdom, Hyrule, a princess, Zelda, and due to the issues of the time, the Zelda was put under a deep sleep. and when that Zelda was put under the sleep, the entire area was put under a spell so that she would not age. She would just remain in the sleep, kind of suspended in animation there until she is saved. And that is why, you know, the royal family for years and years and years names their child Zelda, because of this one ancient Zelda. But that also contradicts with current Nintendo lore, because Zelda from Skyward Sword's name is Zelda, and she is the first Zelda, you know, the reason or whatever. So, big inconsistencies here. I personally like that one because that makes the story of Zelda 2, like, way cooler, because he is essentially just like, all right, bye, like, have a fun life. It was cool knowing you and saving the kingdom and whatever, but I'm gonna go. And he goes and finds a sleeping Zelda, and, you know, he's an older guy now. He's like a teenager, and he's looking for stuff to do. And here's this beautiful Princess Zelda who needs a saving, and, you know, he's known as old Zelda. They don't get along, they don't click, you know, and she's like, hey, thanks for saving me, but whatever. You know, stay around, save the kingdom a couple times, and we'll move on. But there's obviously nothing going on there, else he would have stayed with her, right? So he goes north, he finds another Zelda, and, you know, she's a little older or whatever, and he saves her, and she's like, oh my god, thank you for saving me, and the curtain drops, and something happens, and Link is on a quest to get laid. Like, that is the story of Zelda 2, is he knows, there's this girl that he likes that doesn't like him back, and he goes on this adventure to save a very similar girl, and then they fucking do it. They get laid, they bang, they bone, they knock uglies. That's how the story goes. But not according to Nintendo. So, the little bit about Zelda 2 in this guide. Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link combines overhead exploration with side-angle action. The world is huge with many towns, palaces, and dungeons, and Link uses magic as often as uses weapons. The game was released in 1988, which I always forget that Zelda 2 came out so close to Zelda 1. Here is some cool artwork for that. And what else? Here is the artwork of him. Oh, fighting another crazy demon monster thing. And here is their adventure continues. Moving on. Zelda: A Link to the Past. Link heard a telepathic plea one night, and he ran off to a great adventure. He rescued Zelda and explored Hyrule's many secrets. Before he could challenge the evil Aghanim, he would have to win the Master Sword. And here's pretty cool. It shows him, like, getting the Master Sword, which I think there's the Magic Sword in Zelda 1, but there's no Master Sword, so this is like the first time there's a Master Sword. And here is the Phantom Ganon or Ganon fight that happens in the game. This artwork is just really incredible. It was pretty much why I had to get it initially, was because this artwork is like, I've never seen it before, and it's incredible. A little tidbit about the game. Back to the past. Zelda fans had a long wait before Zelda: A Link to the Past was released in April 1992, but it was worth it. The first Zelda adventure for the Super NES proved to be even bigger and better, more exciting than the original game. Oh, and just some... Oh no, we already saw it. There's the Back to the Past, which is just a screenshot of... This is starting out the lore for Link's journey. Now, again, let's touch base on previous Zelda timeline versus current Zelda timeline. When I was a kid, this game was not locked down to any specific version of Link. It could have been any version of Link, essentially, because it doesn't explicitly say, aside from the fact that this Zelda, or this version of Zelda, this Link that we see in this game, has already been on adventures before. He has items he's familiar with. He's wearing the familiar green tunic already. He's on this boat, which is clearly like him continuing an adventure, coming back from an adventure. And so one theory that I liked when I was a kid or teenager or whatever was that this could be the Link from Majora's Mask, coming back from Termina, or going to Termina. This takes place in a weird interim, part in between, which that also doesn't work according to Nintendo's current logic, or even very much in the story. It seems like he just wanders through the woods and then falls into another dimension. But it would seem that current Nintendo timeline says that this is the Link from A Link to the Past. This is his same adventure. At least I am pretty certain. Now I feel like a jerk because I'm going to bring up Google and everything's going to get ruined. Current Zelda timeline. Googling things live on a stream. That's not helping. Okay, this is the official Zelda timeline from Hyrule Historia. View image. Where is it? Just show me the picture, darn you. Okay. Oh, and this is the other good part. Hyrule's decline and the last hero, the Sealing War, boom. The era of light and dark, so we get A Link to the Past. And then that same Link is Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, and Link's Awakening, which I've never put those together. In my mind, those have never been a thing together. So it's just funny to hear that is how they put it together now. Link's Awakening tells the tale of the hero of A Link to the Past. Oh, well, here you go. Even in this one, they say it is the hero of A Link to the Past. So, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am the wrong one in this instance. And how after his first great victory, maybe if I change the settings on these. How do I do this? Properties. No, I want this. Configure video. Resolution. Alright, everything just went crazy, I imagine. That changed nothing. It changed absolutely nothing. I feel like what is going to happen here when everything is said and done, I'm going to end up with maybe a stream, maybe not, but I'm definitely not going to have a recording of this. Any problems with anything that's going on today, guys, as well, is definitely down to this computer. This computer is not good. It is like an office computer from like a school system or something like that, bought secondhand. I could probably get a similar computer like doing one of the Goodwill tech shops, because there's nothing wrong with the computers. They're fine computers. They're just not made for like streaming or gaming or anything like that. So this guy, and again, nothing wrong with the computer. The computer is fine. It's functional. It just is a small hard drive space, small RAM. It's not made for what we're using it for. And so that's why the stream is not so great, and why we had to try the software a million times. But we're going to wing it right now, and if I have to just grab everything from the video on demand archive, I hope that works. Link's Awakening tells the tale of the hero of A Link to the Past, and how after his first great victory, he set out on a mission of training to hone his skills, sharpen his wits, and master techniques of battle from around the world. Let's try that last one. Last one more time. Link's Awakening tells the tale of the hero of A Link to the Past and how after his first great victory, he set out on a mission. I'll just have to roll with it. Out on a mission of training to hone his skills, sharpen his wits, and master techniques of battle from around the world. Link sailed to foreign lands where he disciplined his mind and body. When he felt ready to return to Hyrule, he bought a small sailboat and headed across the great Hyrulean Sea. Hylian Sea, not Hylian Sea, it's Hyrulean Sea. The journey ended in a storm that crushed and sank Link's ship, clinging to a piece of flotsam and jetsam. Flotsam. Our hero floated towards a mysterious tropical shore, unconscious and barely alive. When Link washed up on the beach of Koholint Island, he had no energy to stand or cry for help, through half-closed eyes. He gazed out on a tropical forest with a tall volcano rising in the distance, and he thought it was odd that the volcano was topped by a giant, spotted egg. At one point, it seemed to him that Zelda was speaking to him, and that he was in a soft bed. At times, he thought he was caught in a bizarre dream. Now, within the context of the game, you would know that Link does, in fact, crash on this island, and he does, in fact, go unconscious, and potentially he just has never woken up. Maybe he has just passed out on the island, and he's just asleep there while none of these people actually exist or whatever. Or maybe he is transported into a dreamlike world, and he does all these things, and then he wakes up from his dreamlike state. But this could be implying, and it seems very obvious that it's implying that Link is in bed in Hyrule. And Zelda is, like, speaking to him, so potentially he's just having a fever dream. It sounds like he's sick in this. Indeed, Link awoke in a soft bed, but the young woman who tended to him was not Zelda, but Marin. She had found him and brought him home to heal. From Tarin, Marin's father, he learned that the evil creatures had appeared shortly after Link's arrival. Sorry, let's try that again. From Tarin, Marin's father, he learned that evil creatures had appeared shortly after his arrival. Then, when Link returned to the beach to retrieve his sword, an owl flapped down beside him and told him the strangest story he'd ever heard. According to the wise old bird, Link was the hero who had come to wake the windfish, and he couldn't leave until that task had been done. In the adventures that followed, Link learned that Koholint Island existed only in the dreams of the windfish, and he was part of that dream. Actually part of the dream, just trapped in the dream, asleep on the beach, asleep in a bed. I don't know. So that last bit, though, does kind of negate the whole maybe he's in home at Hyrule thing. And when it says that he wakes up and Marin is talking to him, seems like we're correcting that little bit there. One thing I really love in this case is all of the official Zelda artwork you've seen up until this point, even for the original Legend of Zelda, Link is a kid. Like, Link is like a young boy. We're talking like 8, 9, 10 years old or whatever, because he's small, like you see him small in all the official artwork. And even the Zelda 2 artwork, he looks like he's an older boy, maybe 13, 14, 15, or something like that. So, say we give him the benefit of the doubt, and he's 11 or 12, and then in the second one, because it's supposed to be the previous, or the subsequent season, the next season, the time changes, he is, 14, maybe 15, if we're giving him, like, as late as can be. So he's, like, a young man. But all of the artwork here depicts him as, like, a much older person. I mean, I guess he could be like 14, 15 there, like a younger boy. But like, as soon as you get into Zelda 2, like, look at Link here. Like, this is an old Link. He's all muscly. He's like a man. That's a man-sized Link right there. And I always thought that was interesting that Zelda had never really made a game, or Nintendo had never really made a Zelda game where Link is an adult, like where Link is a trained swordsman that has been doing it for a long time. I think that would be really interesting for him to not just be young, but to be older. So in the Link's Awakening artwork. We see him here as well, still older because again, it says it's the same guy as from Link to the Past. And I like that. Again, I like an older Link. I think it's cool. I like a younger Link too, don't get me wrong, but I think the older Link is someone that just hasn't been done very much. This image of him falling off the boat, so cool. I wish I could get it focused on this a little better. There we go. And then we have Marin waking him up. And you may think that's a Koopa shell, but it's not. It's a bowl of seashells, I think. So that's it as far as lore goes. That's our bit of lore. That's our story going in. The next pages include story or information about items that we may have. So we probably won't go to that into that very much. Link's list: equipment suitable for a hero. Link may be little, but he can pack a ton of equipment in his backpack. From bombs to bracelets, boomerang to bow and arrows, the collection grows as he uncovers the secret of Koholint. Some things he'll keep in his collection, others he'll trade away. Young Link becomes a skillful barterer in this adventure. So that's cool. There's the Yoshi doll in this game, which is cool. And for the artwork here, it's just a picture of Yoshi, like straight out of the Yoshi puzzle game, I think. Which is really cool if we can get that focused on. Of course not. Alright, well, you saw. The ocarina looks identical to the Ocarina of Time, pretty much, which is really funny. This is basic controls. These pages cover the basics, how to get started, blah-de-blah-de-blah. This is not going to be that interesting to go through because it is just literally how to play the game, how to assign weapons to any button, blah-de-blah-blah-blah. Tells you how to delete a file, which we will definitely have to do. Yay! There are Pegasus boots in this, so that supports it being a Link to the Past. So a little bit about this guide that's really cool is these were traded in at the store. And I will avoid any personal details, but the guy who traded them in had a grandmother who had passed away, and she was apparently a super dope grandma because she just collected all these Nintendo games, and she would get Nintendo Power guides that she would order from Nintendo Power. They would still have her name on them, mailing label and everything, which we had to remove at the store to sell most of them. And I wanted to take all of them. I wanted to just take her whole collection and keep it all as one because it was so interesting. And for the most part, she avoided any notes or anything, even though most of them do have notes pages. She avoided them, except for this little code here on the back, which is just a bunch of directions. It goes up, or sorry, left, up, right, up, left, up, which I can only imagine will come into play at some point, but I don't know why she would have to write that on the thing. Maybe it's a different thing. It's a different game, maybe. You never know when it's somebody else's thing. So in the next couple of pages after that, it's talking about how to defeat the enemies, getting out of places that are closed. The rest of it is literally just a map of the area, which it looks intimidating when you see it laid out like that. And the next couple pages go into the village, which we have no reason to just jump right into that. So because the rest of it is going to have to do with things chronologically, we'll wait to get into it until we get to that point in the game. I did want to go over the cover that we see here. You can see a really cool hand-drawn version of the map with a Zelda compass rose down there and octopus and everything. And then the back tells you about the game and what's going on there. Link survives a shipwreck only to face the nightmares of Koholint Island. An all-new adventure unfolds when Link, the hero of Hylian lore, is caught in a furious squall that rips his ship apart and pitches him into the sea. He washes ashore on the mystery-shrouded Koholint, an uncharted isle unlike any he has explored before. After enduring the nightmarish ordeal, Link learns that a strange and mystic legend casts a great shadow over this island. Everyone to rise to a challenge. Link puts his courage and cunning to the test as he seeks answers that will solve the mystery of the legendary windfish that slumbers atop the island's most lofty peak. This adventurer's log is a must-have for anyone attempting to chart a course through the perils and intrigues of Koholint Island. Link's latest quest takes him from dark, watery depths, through barren deserts and pothole-pocketed prairies, on his way to the rugged mountain range that rises in the north. In the north! The Link in the north! Though the island dwellers offer aid, evil enemies multiply rapidly, making Link's journey ever more treacherous. From Octoroks to Tektites, Goombas to grim creepers, fearsome foes lurk in every shadow. Some are familiar to our travel-hardened hero. Others are entirely new. In this player's guide, you'll find a complete account of how to survive the perils and reap the profits found on the island. Inside these covers are detailed maps to help you avoid pitfalls and find the island's hidden riches. No adventurer should set out without this 112-page player's guide. It is the key to finding your way through the creepy caves and danger-filled dungeons where you'll meet Link's greatest challenges. Learn to negotiate with the islanders, find out where to search for secret treasures, discover clues that will help you recover the 8 enchanted sirens' instruments, and uncover the secret of the sleeping windfish. The all-important information is all here, inside these covers. At your darkest moment, just when you think there's nowhere to turn, you can turn these pages to enlightenment and discover how to succeed on your momentous quest. I hope that wasn't too grueling for everyone. So I think that's about all we can do with the guide until, we get a little bit more information from the game itself. So let's get into deleting this. It is officially an hour after starting. I've been talking for an hour, and if I'm not mistaken, not a single person has come into Hangout. Video quality on the stream is really bad, though. I mean, the Gameboy game, it's a Gameboy game, so it's like not super bad if it jitters a little bit, but the stream, it does look real bad. Let's try to change this, I guess, and try to... Properties. Configure video. I can't do all that. That's nonsense. How am I going to do all that? I'm just going to okay. The device default is 720p, so I'd have to go lower than that if I wanted to be able to do better. And I don't know. I just need to see how bad is the jitter. How bad is it? Is it bad? Is it that bad? It looks pretty bad. See, like, that's not so bad. It just drops a few frames. It has to catch up, looks like. I think I'm going to leave it, because I don't want to, mess with the resolution, and then... It just looks so crappy. It looks so crappy. It's because it's a webcam! It's a webcam! You're using a webcam! Okay. Then let's fucking do it. We should erase Link, because I'm Link. You're not Link, I am Link. I will not be outdone by a lesser Link. Okay? Oh, Guy. I am Phantom Hourglass Link. You are Spirit Tracks Link. Suck it. My name is Link. Do you think I should put in a name that is not Link? Because you are wrong. You're a wrong person. Your opinion is incorrect. Start. The start button is a little wonky because it is a very, very old controller from my grandmother's Super Nintendo. When I first got into doing repairs, I tried really hard to fix Grandma's Super Nintendo so I could keep it, and I was unsuccessful. It was a very tough repair, so I have it in pieces, and we are trying to make it work as best we can. Alright, here we go. We have woken up. Marin is like, dude. What a relief. I thought you'd never wake up. You were tossing and turning. What? Zelda? No, my name's Marin. What? Marin? No, not that Marin. The other Marin. It's a different Marin. I know there's a lot of Marins. It's a pretty common name. You must still be feeling a little woozy. You are on Koholint Island. And now I'm a living, breathing boy. None of the buttons do anything yet. Wow, this looks pretty... Oh, sorry, this is Link. Wow, this looks pretty heavy. Oh, no, this is not Link. This is a narrator. What's his name? Narrator. Oh, so I literally cannot lift it.
Well, Link, you finally snapped out of it. Name's Terran. Hope you're feeling better. What? How did I know your name? You think it's weird, eh? Well, I saw it on the back of this shield.
Here's your motherfucking shield! I got your shield back. I got my shield back. You can use it to flip enemies. So, in case anybody's wondering, on a Super Nintendo controller, playing this on Super Game Boy, B is blocked with your shield, but also Y is blocked with your shield. And I have not done any controller mapping, but I think you can if you want. Looks like I got some space for instruments there. We're going back to the game. Marin, do you want to do it? Follow the lane south to reach the beach, where I found you. Since you washed ashore, lots of nasty monsters have been in the area. So be careful, okay? Sorry. Is my phone dead? Oh no, my phone died. How am I gonna know how many people are watching? No, but nobody's watching. Another very silly thing about this playthrough is that I looked into a playthrough of Link's Awakening on YouTube just to see how long it would take to see if this could possibly be done, because it is currently the 18th or some shit. It is the 17th, so this game comes out in 3 days. I do not think I will be able to beat this game in 3 days and have it all posted, obviously, so we're kind of, we're winging it. We will probably be playing this game after the new one comes out, and I don't know what that means for playing the new one at all, because I may hate myself if I'm still trying to beat this while the new one is...
Hey, what are you doing in my chest? Where'd you learn to do such a thing?
I hope that was Terran, because I don't know. There was no indication to who it was. can't do anything with that. I can't do anything with that. Eleanor does nothing. So we're gonna go out. I'm also listening to this through a single Apple headphone, so that's also poopy. Do not, absolutely do not hurt the cuckoos in this game, because I think they are the toughest ones. That looks like a telephone. It is a telephone. Euleria, ask me anything about the island. If you get lost, give me a call by click. Goodbye, Euleria. That's a nice chest. You got a nice chest, Euleria. So I don't exactly know what to do here. You don't kill me, do you? I can't. It doesn't kill me and I can't talk to it. The puppy doesn't kill me and I can't talk to it. Yahoo! I'm fine, and you? You notice everybody, and this is like very common game knowledge. This is common game knowledge. Everybody in this game has a usual one-dimensionalness. How to say, please call outside. It seems that old man Euleria, oh, Euleria is a guy, is a shy guy in person. Bring, bring, yes, he's the bucket mouse. Thanks for the calling. Well, click. You must have dialed a wrong number. Oh, that's funny, that's funny, you're funny. Let me check the chest. That's a nice chest. Let me check the chest. That's a nice chest. Let me check the chest. That's a nice chest. Let me check the chest. Oh, man, I checked the same. Oh, come on, man. Let me check the chest. That's a nice chest. Let me check the chest. That's a nice chest. Let me check the chest. And everybody's chest is nice. Okay, okay, I checked the chest. I get it. Nothing else to be done here. Should we see where we at? What the place is? What we need to do? We have a guide. We can just like walk through the game, and we have a walkthrough, so we're walking through. So a couple things, you know, we can do with the video, like I said, is we can cut it down if there's things that are funny, if there's things that are interesting. If I say something interesting, which never happens, then we can just cut that into its own little thing, or like make a video that's cut down. I thought it would be an interesting idea to cut out all the parts where I'm standing still and upload it as a full playthrough, but I really wish that my recording software was better, if that is the case, because this composite recording is full of the noise. So it's possible we may see this as several videos that are all the same video. Maybe one without sound at all, that's just the game recording. Maybe one that's me playing the game on screen. Maybe one that's just a voice recording. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I would like to put this into some kind of cool video. And I really like to focus on the manual because it's so beautiful. So, Area 1, page 20. Area 1. This is where we're starting. That looks exactly like where we started. We come out of that place. I am in that place right now. Everything looks pretty interesting. When you awaken Maybe Village, you'll learn... when you awaken Maybe Village, and you'll return here often to talk to people and discover what has happened during your absence, like you, Marin and Taryn travel around, and they can tell you what they've learned. Pack your bags. Follow the advice of Marin and Taryn. Go first to the library and learn all that you can. Then go to the Toronbo shores and recover your sword. The owl is waiting at the entrance to the mysterious forest, so go meet him and hear his tale. As you search for the tail key, you'll earn rupees by defeating enemies. When you return to Maybe Village with the key, check out the goods at the shop. When you return to Maybe Village with the key, check out the goods at the shop. Buy whatever you can afford before setting out again to the south. Go talk to all of the people in town. They're friendly folks. That looks like Mickey Mouse. As you prepare to leave Marin and Terran's house, Terran will give you your shield and tell you to beware of the many monsters that have been seen in the area since your arrival. Because the shield is your only possession at this point, you'll have to make the most of it. When you reach Taranbo Shores, you'll be attacked by spiny urchins. Use the shield to flip them and push other spiky enemies out of your way. A little icon or a screenshot here with a caption. Don't leave home without it. Before you head to Taranbo Shores, get your shield from Terran. You'll need it. Visit the village library. Before leaving town, be sure to visit the library and read all the books Before leaving town, be sure to visit the library and read all of the books that... Okay, so that's not me. This is not me. This is the actual book. Before leaving town, be sure to visit the library and read all of the books that can. That can. Read all of the books that can. Of course, it's terrible. It's terrible. There are books on topics such as selecting the item that's right for you, secrets of the whirling blade, fun with bombs, properties of warp holes, how to handle your shield, and dark secrets and mysteries of Koholint Island. The last book, which includes dark secrets of the land, is written in type that's so small that you won't be able to read it without a magnifying glass. Shield. Link has carried this trusty shield through all kinds of adventure. The shield is neat. The artwork on the shield is pretty cool. Stop in the village library before you continue to Taranbo Shores. Be sure to read about using the shield. Beside the shop and villager's house, there is a trendy game in the southeast area and a fishing pond in the north. Take a chance on the trendy game, even if you're not an avid angler. Try your luck fishing. Special finds. The village might not be very big, but there are lots of discoveries to make here. Search under squares of bushes for secret shell. Search under the square of bushes for the secret shell and try to nab a Yoshi doll playing the trendy game. Caption on these images. Start collecting secret shells right away by picking up the one here in town. The quadruplet's mother says that the kids are pestering her for a Yoshi doll. See if you can score one for her at the trendy game. So it seems like there's a lot of little stuff we can do right here at the beginning to not even avoid completely getting into the story as much as possible. This is the owl saying route checklist. Take your trusty shield from Terran, then go exploring. Talk to Madame Meow Meow, Ulrira's... That's a tough thing to say. Ulrira. Ulrira's wife, and the quadruplet's mother. Go to the library and read all of the books that you can, and then retrieve your sword from Taranbo Shores. Play the trendy game and win a Yoshi doll for the children. Get a piece of heart from the well on the west side of town. Find the secret shell and try your luck in the fishing pond. So this literally wants you to do everything you can in this town before you move on. That is a lot. That is a decent chunk of things to do. So Yahoo! I'm fine, and you? I think that's Meow Meow? Madam Meow Meow? Are you Meow Meow? Meow Meow! Hello, little chain chomp chomp chomp. Ho ho! My Bow Wow is so proud of his fine fur coat. It's like that's not furry. Yip 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 yip. He's made of balls. Wow, this looks pretty heavy. You won't be able to lift it with just your bare hands. It's a whole pot. Don't get into pot, kids. Link, check the chest. Now that's a nice chest. You shouldn't just keep your dog locked up like that outside. Maybe you have to pay attention to him a little more. Hey man, when you want to save, just push all the buttons at once. Don't ask me what that means when you want to save. That's crazy. I think, Stop Skeletons from Fighting went over this. These kids, like, they give you tips, but they shouldn't know. They shouldn't know about the game and why they have these tips. They say, I'm just a kid, don't worry about it, but... Shit, I don't know if the save battery on this is okay. Oh, but there's all those saves. There's all those saves, so obviously it's fine because there's a shit ton of saves. What a waste of time. Thanks for the tip, kid. Okay, here's a library. The properties of warp holes. Read this book. Read. Don't. Yes, I will read it. There are some warp holes on Koholint Island you can warp to and fro using these holes. If you jump into the warp hole at which you arrived, you will go to the next one in sequence. You can only warp to a hole you have seen with your own eyes. Like my eyes or with Link's eyes, because what if I choose not to look at them? Fun with bombs. Read this book? Yes, I will. After you put a bomb down, you can pick it up by pressing the button again. You can then throw it by pushing the button one more time. Did you know that? I did not. Link, please stop. No, stop. Stop. Get out of here. Atlas of Koholint Island. Sorry, let's try it again. Atlas of Koholint Island. I've lost it. I've lost the voice. I didn't do it for too long. You can move the cursor and look up the name of a place. Do you want to look at this map? Yeah, let's look. What is the name of a place? Oh, it's a shop. It's a shop. It's a shop. None of this means anything to me right now. It's the same map that is in the map or the guide though. Dark Secrets and Mysteries of Koholint. Do you really want to read it? This is a different writer. Gasp! What's this? You can't read the tiny print without the aid of a magnifying glass. Well, that's for the best because that voice was terrible. How to handle your shield like a pro. Read this book? Yes, I would like to read it. If you hold the button down, you can defend yourself from enemy attacks, and you can fillip some enemies too. Did you see that? Did you see that it said fillip? Besides the standard shield, there is also a mirrored variety which can defend against beams. Philip. This is my shield, Philip. Secrets of the Whirling Blade. Read this book? Yes, please. The Whirling Blade Technique. The Whirling Blade Technique has been handed down from generation to generation by the family of the hero. Interesting. So this says, according to this, the hero, who has a lineage now, which previously the hero is reincarnated or whatever, but the hero isn't always chosen. Sometimes somebody raises to the challenge and fills the void, like Wind Waker Link. This is saying this is passed down through the lineage of the hero, thinking that the Link's ancestry line goes through all of Hyrule, all of the Hyrules, through all of the timelines. That's like, what? To use it, hold down the sword button and build up your power. When you have enough, you can release the button. Can you master this? Yeah, I could probably hold a button down pretty easily. Auto map and memo guidebook. Read this? Yes, please. You can see an island map by pressing the select button. The dark parts of the map are places you have not yet visited. Move the cursor and press the A button to get more information about an area, or replay the message you got there. Ah, how convenient. Selecting the item that's right for you. Read this book, yes please. You can select your favorite item for the A and B buttons on the subscreen using different items you can fight without a sword. Try many different things to find out what's right for you. Alright, we're good. Is this a good chest? This is not a chest. What? You knew that? Okay. You're funny, you're funny, you're funny, you're funny. You're old man, you're so funny. I think it's funny. I am like the whole. What I like the most about doing this setup was that I would still have it playing on the CRT over here, but because the mic is on this side, I'm pretty much just like talking into the mic, which I know. And okay, so this is so stupid. I'm sitting here checking everything. I know. I hate myself. I have a guide in front of me, and the guide did not say go into the twins' house and check all the bookshelves, or the library and check all the bookshelves. It's so stupid. Like, I know what's here. I know exactly what's here. What's the sign say? Trombo Shores. Okay, so according to the guide, I should not leave the place yet and go to the shores. What was over here? Tail Cave. Talk to Madame Meow Meow. I think I did that, but I don't know. Go to the library, read all the books that you can, retrieve your sword. I guess I did. Okay, so it's time to go to the sword shores. I don't know how to flip him. How do I flip him? I don't know how to do that. Using items together, try a trade-off. This is all about like how to do this way down the line, like after you have this. I just want to know how to flip them. How do I fill up them? The shield. It doesn't tell you how to flip them. That's not what they mean. That's not what they mean at all. I don't understand. I don't understand that. I'm not sure how that works. Maybe it's because I was reading the shield thing. Alright, maybe there's not a shield book. Maybe I just how to handle a shield. Like a pro. Read this book. Read. If you hold the button down, you can defend yourself from enemy attacks, and you can fill up some. Hold the button down. Hold the button down. That's what I'm doing. I don't see a difference. That's not Philipping. Alright, I'm holding the button down. Hey, there's someone else watching. Does it really look good though? It's actually pretty good that someone is in here. This is a friend of mine. Can you tell me if it sounds okay? Because I've kind of been like projecting into the mic, and I've been worried that it's like too loud or something like that. So if you can say, just tell me. Fuck. Philip. So like I can push those bastards. Ah. Alright, so apparently... Cool! Here's a hoot hoot. It doesn't matter if I fill up anybody with my shield, because I have a sword now. So Philipping is no longer necessary. Hoot hoot! So you're the lad who owns the sword. Now he's Mario for some reason. I understand why the monsters are starting to act so violently. A courageous lad has come to wake the windfish. It is said that you cannot leave the island unless you wake the windfish. You should now go north to the mysterious forest. I will wait for you there. Hoot! Thank you. Crystal clear and balanced over the game. Appreciate it. So I'm basically dead. I have half a heart. I now have a sword. You found your sword! It must be yours because it has your name engraved on it. Yeah, well, is your name on it? Is your name on the sword? Because if your name's not on the sword, it's not yours. Look at that. You see that? That was pretty cool. Alright, but I still don't know how to fill up. There's these things that are laying on the beach, and I'm trying to chop at them, and they don't work. Okay, so that's what we did. We did oh balls. We did the sword. Now we have the sword. What does our next step say? Alright, so take your trusty shield, go to exploring. I don't know if I actually talked to Madame Meow Meow, because the woman that I talked to said absolutely nothing about being Madame Meow Meow. What else? Go to the library, read all the books. I can. I did that. Retrieve your sword. I got that. I didn't play the trendy game. The well or the fishing. So there's still a lot of stuff to do in here. Let's see if I can... My phone is now charged. I will bring up Twitch chat one more time. I love that it gives me an ad on my own stream. It doesn't. It's never like, hey, by the way, you're paying yourself. I'm not paying anybody. I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting paid. What the heck? I'm like looking at the stream on my phone and I'm like, oh man, it looks like crap. It looks so jittery, but that's just a Game Boy game. So now there's a separate page for the Taranbo Shores. Site of the shipwreck. As Link's adventure opens, he wakes in a small hut, unable to remember how he got there. He mumbles Zelda to the girl sitting by his side, but it is Marin who has tended him in his time of need. Where is he? How did he arrive here? Return to the wreck site. When Link awakes in his dazed state, Marin and her father Tarin tell him about the shipwreck and about how he washed up on a nearby shore. Tarin has recovered Link's shield. He knows it's Link's because his name is on it, and they think that other supplies belonging to the lad might have washed up there as well. Return to seek the sword. When Link returns to Tanobo Shores, he'll find his sword in the surf. So I did that. Who's there? After recovering his sword, Link is surprised by a wise owl who tells him a mysterious tale about the island he's landed on. The owl tells him to head north to the mysterious forest, and then it departs. It hasn't disappeared, though. This owl will reappear at many points in Link's quest to tell him what he should do next. Perhaps it knows more about the legendary windfish than it's telling. Let's see. Link recovers his mighty sword at Taranbo Shores. Now he's ready for the adventure that awaits. Now, the sword that's drawn here is very Master Sword-esque, but it's not a Master Sword. It's like grayish gold, and there's no crest. It's just the like extended hilt, which I think is interesting, because if he got the Master Sword in Link to the Past, I don't know how that game works because I've never played it. Ooh, ouch. But it would make sense that his sword would be the same, so he doesn't have the same sword. How sad. How sad. Anyway, go bananas. An odd alligator named Sail has a house on the beach. He sells bananas by trade, but he's been known to wheel and deal. Sail and his brother both collect strange objects. If you find something that's to his liking, you can probably swing a sweet deal for a bunch of bananas. Even if you don't like bananas, it's best to get a bunch. You never know when they might come in handy on this unusual tropical island. Sound check. Usually when you strike a wall with a sword, you'll hear a distinctive ping sound. If instead you hear a more hollow sound when you hit a portion of the wall, it could mean that there's something behind it, and that you can uncover by something behind the wall that you can uncover by bombing it. Hidden caves and fairy springs are sometimes accessible by bomb. Try striking walls that look a bit suspicious. After talking to both Marin and Tarin, leave Maybe Village and go to Taranbo Shores. Use your shield to move the sea urchins out of the way. Continue east to the site of the shipwreck. Find your sword, listen to the owl's story, and find out about the legend of the sleeping windfish. And then return to Maybe Village. So I guess I'm not supposed to go here yet. Because there are items here that I can't get right now. Like, there's a boomerang, but it doesn't look like I get that right now. Maybe we should go talk to this banana chap. It also doesn't say what to do about... these little guys. I imagine you pull them out of the ground later. Boomerang's so good, though. Oh, hold up. it looks like Taco Bell is coming home. This is the hardest Zelda I ever played. And so this is definitely a moment in which Apostic, you're going to be way more like knowledgeable with the series right at this point, because I've never played a Game Boy Zelda game. I played Minish Cap emulated on my PSP for 3 hours or something like that, and then I tried to play it again on 3DS because it came out on 3DS when if you bought 3DS, and it was like the 270 price point. Later they gave the Minish Cap to you for free as part of the Ambassador program, so I did that, and I never played it. There were just too many games to play at the time. Anyway, what should I get from Taco Bell? I'm thinking bean burrito, cheesy fiesta, potato. I like that beefy Frito, but it's a temporary thing, so I don't know if they'll have it. Beefy Frito, if they have it. I don't know. Baja Blast. I've been dead for so long, the beeping is terrible. I'm not a fan of the crunch wrap. I don't know. I like, it's funny because all of the ingredients that are in the crunch wrap are in other things that I definitely really enjoy. Oh shit. Ah, that's a second death. Oh man, oh no, I do still have my sword. That's cool. So do I even need to go down there again? Ha! Bitch. So, Postic, have you played the Game Boy Color games, or the Game Boy Advance games? Beware of the sea urchins. Don't touch them with your bare hands.
I forgot my bare hands. All I got are these wolf paws.
Gotta get all the rupees. Can't tell me there's not rupees here. This is kind of tough to, again, I'll say again, I've never really played Link to the Past. Just for very, very, very brief time periods, but to have this swiping motion where you start attacking to the side and then it goes across like that, that is taking some getting used to. Yeah. From Apostic, I had both Oracle games, one on the regular Game Boy and Minish Cap. Beat both of the Oracles. Tied together stories were great. I know at the end of that one, if you do beat both, like you beat one and then go on to beat the other one, you do get the Ganon fight at the end, which is like the true ending or whatever. So, I mean, that's cool if you did that. Now, the guide says to tap on these, walls to see if something's hollow, but I don't hear a difference. Anyway, I don't have bombs, so I can't do anything there anyway. Oh, you fucker. You monkey fucker. You wanna suck monkey cock? Fucking... I don't think I can do anything with that guy. Talk to me about the monkey. Oh, are you kidding me? You never know when the bananas... you never know when the bananas come into play. That's so fucking funny. It literally says, you never know when the bananas will come into play on this tropical island. There's a big-ass monkey. I bet he wants the bananas. Alright, Mr. Alligator.
Welcome to Sale's House of Bananas. I'm Sale. This is my house of bananas. Actually, my hobby is collecting rare and unusual canned food.
Well, that's a boring-ass hobby, dude. You are a very uninteresting person. Alligator. Crocodile. Alligator. What is he? He's an odd alligator.
My brother is an artist, so I guess strange hobbies run in the family.
Now, let's talk about that for a second, because being an artist is a much more sensible hobby than collecting rare canned food items. Cool, can I buy some freaking bananas? And I can just, like, pick up the bananas, I think. How do I do it? Oh, man. I can't just pick up the bananas. Hey, check it out. His bed is in a pool of water. What an interesting character. That's a nice chest. I think check the chest. Wow, that's a nice chest. So I have to give you a can of food? The guide is being surprisingly vague on how to make these things work. Bananas by trade. So I have to, at that point. I have to wait until I get a can of canned food. This might be the kind of guide that's up my alley, though, because they're telling me what needs to be done, but they're not telling me exactly how to do it, which really doesn't help streamlining this whole thing like I was hoping, but it does make the game more interesting. I'll also say, too, when I first turned this game on, because, you know, I work at the game store, and I could wait, essentially. I could wait, essentially, until the DX version comes in, and then play the Game Boy Color. Apostic. This is... I explained this a little bit earlier in the stream. This is the Link's Awakening official Nintendo Player's Guide from when the game was released. It is predating when... So there's the time frame of Nintendo where everything was in-house, and then they did the Nintendo Power time frame where the magazine was pretty much in-house, but it eventually kind of broke off and became its own thing that was just endorsed by Nintendo, and then they took over all of the official guidelines or guidebooks, as far as I know. This is all speculation. I didn't research this at all. I'm just going by what I know about seeing the guides come through the store. So this doesn't have any Nintendo Power branding or anything on it. It literally just says official Nintendo Player's Guide. So I would just imagine that this is the most official one from before when they were doing Nintendo Power guides, because just after this, everything that came out always had the Nintendo Power, the official guide from Nintendo Power would be what it said. And now, like, obviously, since the magazine's defunct, and I'm pretty sure even, like, late in the magazine's lifespan, they did not actually do that. Like, the Twilight Princess super duper guide that was hardcover Premier Edition, the Premier Edition Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2 guides, those are Prima branded guides. And Nintendo has also officially endorsed Brady guides before, but the ones that say Nintendo are the ones that, like, really get my goat as far as the stuff, because again, I was explaining earlier, lore is so hard to come by that anything that's Nintendo's official word on a game has to be, like, collected and coveted, essentially. So that's what I did here. I have the same official Nintendo Power guide for the Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons combo. It's a combo guide. And I've also snatched up Banjo-Kazooie, Mario 64. I have the Mario Kart 64 one on hold. And I think I tried to snatch the Donkey Kong 64 one, but someone else grabbed it before I could get it, so that sucks. But this is the oldest one I've seen come through, and it is a pretty rare one, and unfortunately the only issue, aside from it obviously being red, is that the person who owned it before has some kind of button combination which almost looks like a code, but it's not, which I don't know what that code is for. We haven't seen it come up yet, but judging by how vague the guide has been so far, I'd say maybe it's something that we could use, like maybe will come up and be necessary in our adventure, so we'll see. Alright, so back to where we were before. Unfortunate part about the stream and everything and getting it set up. I didn't even start streaming until 7:20, and I talked for an hour just about what happens with the YouTube channel and the stream and everything, so I probably won't be able to go as long on this as I was hoping. It sounds like my girlfriend is bringing home food, so obviously I'm going to want to eat food when it comes, and I probably won't jump back on the stream after food is here, just because when the house is not neutral, it's really hard to stream. But again, with the new game coming out in 3 days, if I'm going to beat this, if I'm going to get through it, I need to do it in the next day or two anyway, so we will see. We will see what happens. In all likelihood, I may end up still playing this after the new one is released. We may end up playing them simultaneously together. That could be interesting, play them side by side and just compare them. I don't know. I'm not sure what we'll do. I need hearts. It said if you need hearts, you have to go to a cave or to a door. Anyway, there's nothing else that it's telling me to do here right now. It says there's a boomerang. Doesn't show you where the boomerang is. I could explore just a little further. I see a treasure chest on here, so we can just see. I won't get by here without getting hit, probably. What are you? What are you? Oh, I have to... Weird, I have to get to the front, I guess, or... I need a key. So I can't do anything with that right now. Gonna head to sleep. East Coast. Side-by-side comparison. Old and new would be dope comparison. If H go far in this, stream all your progress and upload it together. Peace, good luck. Thanks for our one viewer, even though they are a biased opinion. Sleep tight. I love how Link kind of pushes up against the water. Like he's pushing the boundary. That's funny. Boom, boom. Oh fuck. So this is pretty much the whole map I've seen now. The whole beach map has been explored. We know exactly what we're getting into. We are basically dead. Oh, except we're not. We're at full health. Link, fill up your hearts so you can shoot your sword of power. And if we continue this way, we'll just get to this place which we've already been. Right. This will be the house. And the next one will be Sail's house, I think. So, yeah, Sail's house. Okay, so we're back. We're going this way. Neat how when you leave this screen that it doesn't reset the stuff that you've done. Aww. I think I deserved that. It's funny, for a half second I thought maybe I discovered a secret. We all know at some point this Link can jump. One of few links. Oh, damn it! Fuck! Fuck! One of few links that can jump. What the heck was that? What was the thing that we just lost? Oh, come on. Items. What was that? What was that? Rock's feather? That's not it. It wouldn't be a permanent item. Acorn. Pick up the acorn of defense that enemies drop to temporarily increase your defensive power. So apparently I picked up an acorn. Apparently I picked up an acorn, or I saw an acorn. I did not pick it up. I completely missed it. It despawned. Our jumping Link, I imagine, has to jump over those things to continue down to that area, which makes perfect sense. That's one thing I like about a Zelda game that we don't really get in a modern Breath of the Wild style game, is when you have a game like this, and you have to control progression, you know, in a much simpler way, it becomes part of the game, essentially, to have an item that, like, oh, it's not only part of the story, it's part of the gameplay, it's part of the level design, it's part of the way that you progress in the whole world, it's part of the character of it. And so, yeah, when that's all part of it, you get attached to weapons, you get attached to levels, you get attached to things that they're all integrated, essentially. You know, not only is the weapon connected to where you are and who you are, but who you fought, who you did, or who you killed, you know, the specific dungeon, blah, 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 blah. And yes, that doesn't mean that there are certain dungeons like the Arbiter's Grounds or whatever in Twilight Princess where you use that spinner thing and the spinner is only used then and you never use it again. Yes, that will happen. But for the most part, when they can integrate it here, you unlock an item outside of a dungeon or inside a dungeon, and when you get outside, you can do new stuff with it and progress through the levels, and that's how you know, I don't know, that's how you like build the world. But with the Breath of the Wild style, a keyhole here. It says tail keyhole. Interesting. So I can't get in here, apparently, until I do the tail. The tail's tail. What was I saying? Oh, with the Breath of the Wild, when, you know, you enter the first couple dungeons, and by the time you've left those dungeons, you have all of the major items of the game, and the only things you're going to unlock are, like, boomerangs, or, you know, strong swords, which may change your way of attacking, but not your way of movement or exploration. Something is lost. Something is very un-Zelda about that, in my opinion. Which, you know, Zelda is different things to many different people. But I'm not complaining even a little bit about Breath of the Wild, because it is super good. And it's hard to say what my favorite Zelda game would be, but Breath of the Wild is definitely up there as far as... What the hell is this? Breath of the Wild is definitely up there as far as Zelda games, just for essentially being a sequel to the original, in a really neat way. Library. Oh, so Madame Meow Meow's house is E. I did talk to Madame Meow Meow. That's so weird. So Madame Meow Meow is Ulrira's wife, but they don't live together. They live in separate... Unless Ulrira... No, that says Ulrira's house and Madame Meow Meow's house. So they're married. They're married, but they don't live together. Trouble at home. I assume I have to wait until I can jump to get into that. Meow Meow. What did she say? And she's Madame Meow Meow, but she has dogs? Yep. I'm great. I'm glad you're proud of your fur coat. That does nothing for me, essentially. Someday I'll come back and I'll break all of your pots. Fishing hole. Hello, sir. How about some fishing, little buddy? I'll only charge you 10 rupees. I have 24, so we can fish. Use left and right on the D-pad to aim a cast. Once you hook a fish, press the button rapidly to reel him in. I have no way of changing. Fuck you, dude. Yeah. Oh, fuck you. I want that big fish. I can't afford any other fish now. Ah. That's some bullshit. So just like Ocarina, you gotta... Oh. I thought he would talk to me. That was not an animal abuse. Just so you know, that was not an animal abuse, even a little bit. What happens if I cut all your grass, little doggy? Are you happy? Hi, doggy. You had some rupees in your doggy. Oh, I'm not trying to hit you with my sword. Hearts. Yay, thank you. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so if we go here, we go up here, this is going to be connection to the next area. Oh, I guess I could drop down that well from here. Hey! I got a piece of heart! Oh, it told me to do that. That was pretty handy. Alright, now I have piece of heart. Well, guys, it sounds like maybe my food is here. And if that is the case, we probably will call it quits for the day. I know I have literally accomplished nothing. But I hope we get a chance to continue this in future episodes. So we'll probably just call it quits here. Yeah. I don't know how it works. The save feature is just really weird. There we go.